Hey friends, welcome to my channel, where we dive into the most mind-blowing mysteries of human consciousness. Today we're embarking on an incredible journey into a world where time and space blur. Picture this: kids who describe places they've never visited, people they've never met, and events that happened long before they were born, with stunning accuracy. These aren't made-up stories. They're real cases studied by scientists worldwide. Our topic today: proof of reincarnation, a scientific analysis of cases. Are you ready for discoveries that might flip your view of life upside down? We'll unpack facts, research, and stories that captivate millions. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and tap the bell so you don't miss out on future investigations. Let's get started. The idea of reincarnation, souls returning in new forms, has fascinated humanity for centuries. It's rooted in ancient traditions from India, Tibet, and Egypt, where people believed in cycles of existence. But today, we're talking science. In the 20th century, researchers began systematically collecting data that challenged conventional views. One key figure, psychiatrist Ian Stevenson from the University of Virginia, spent 40 years studying thousands of cases, mostly from kids who spontaneously recalled past lives. Stevenson wasn't a mystic. He was a rigorous scientist who verified every detail using documents, witness accounts, and medical records. His archive includes over 2,500 cases from India, Sri Lanka, Lebanon, Brazil, Turkey, the US, and beyond. What's astonishing, kids described lives of people they couldn't possibly know, and their stories checked out with real facts. Let's look at a famous case from Lebanon. A boy named Imad, just 2 years old, started talking about a life in a village 15 miles away. He named his relatives, described a house with a red roof, an apple orchard, and even mentioned neighbors and a hidden stash in the house. His parents thought it was childish imagination, but they decided to check it out. When they brought Imad to that village, he recognized people he'd never met, hugged his family, and pointed out hidden items. Everything matched the life of a man named Ibrahim who lived there before. The families had no connection, and scars on Imad's body aligned with marks Ibrahim had. Stevenson ruled out fraud. This is one of hundreds of cases where physical traits match the past. What makes these stories scientific? Stevenson and his colleague Jim Tucker used a strict method, interviewing kids before age 5 to 7, when memories are fresh, cross-checking details with archives, medical records, and witnesses, and ruling out cultural influence, since cases happen even in places where reincarnation isn't part of the belief system. In his book, Life Before Life, Tucker analyzed 2,500 cases and found patterns. Kids often recall emotional details, favorite foods, habits, fears tied to the past. For example, a child terrified of water for no reason might remember a drowning. In 70% of cases, Tucker found matches with real people from the past. The odds of random coincidence in these details are incredibly low. Take the story of Shanti Devi from India in the 1930s. At 4 years old, she began talking about her past family in Mathura, 90 miles from Delhi. She described her husband, children, a house with columns, and even a hidden stash of money under the floor. Her shocked parents contacted that family, and it all checked out. Shanti recognized her husband in a crowd named relatives and pointed out changes in the house. A committee of scientists and politicians, including Mahatma Gandhi, investigated and concluded: no fraud. Shanti lived a long life and stood by her memories. In India, where reincarnation is part of the culture, such stories number in the thousands. But Stevenson focused on spontaneous, verifiable cases. Now let's talk psychology. Critics suggest cryptomnesia, when someone forgets a source of information and mistakes it for their own memories, or parental influence, hypnosis. But Stevenson debunked this. Kids describe details unavailable in books or TV, especially in poor families with no internet. Memories fade by age 7 to 8, unlike typical fantasies. Neuroscience adds intrigue. Roger Penrose and Stuart Hameroff's quantum consciousness theory suggests consciousness might exist beyond the brain. Quantum physics, with its idea of non-locality, hints that information could persist outside the body. Hypnosis studies like Michael Newton's Journey of Souls show people describing between life stages, choosing bodies, soul lessons. It's not hard proof, but thousands of sessions reveal similar patterns. Here's another jaw-dropping case from the US. James Leininger. At 2, he screamed in his sleep about a burning plane, drew Japanese fighter jets, and called himself James III. He mentioned a ship called Natoma. His Christian parents didn't believe in reincarnation, but checked it out. Everything matched the life of pilot James Houston, whose plane was shot down in 1945. The boy recognized veterans from the aircraft carrier Natoma Bay, named them, and described battle details. Tucker's book Soul Survivor backs this up with documents and photos. How could a kid know military secrets? Genetics? The families weren't related. Telepathy? Unlikely. Reincarnation seems a reasonable explanation. Europe has cases too. In Turkey, a boy named Semih Tutulmaz recalled a life in another village. Names, a house, debts. He even repaid a debt to the family he found. Istanbul University researchers confirmed the accuracy. In Britain, Polly Carvel in the 1950s described a life as a nun in Ireland, mentioning an abbey that burned in the 1700s. Archives matched. This shows the phenomenon is global, not tied to one culture. Birthmarks are a big deal. Stevenson documented hundreds of cases where marks on a child's body match injuries from a past life. In Burma, a boy with a mark on his neck recalled being cut in his past. Records showed a person with that name had such an injury. In 49% of cases involving intense past events, there are matching marks, way beyond chance. Medicine can't explain these patterns with genetics. Critics like Carl Sagan call for experiments. One idea: leave a code to recall in the next life. Attempts exist, but no breakthroughs yet. However, xenoglossy, kids speaking languages they don't know, is striking. Swati from India sang in Bengali, a language she never learned, and the songs belonged to a woman from Bengal. Linguists confirmed authenticity. Modern research continues. In the 2020s, Jim Tucker and colleagues studied DNA and brain scans, searching for memory traces. A hypothesis: memories stored in an information field, as physicist David Bohm suggested. Epigenetics doesn't explain unrelated families. Physicist Henry Stapp posits consciousness might be part of a quantum network. These cases make you wonder, is life part of a grand cycle? This opens questions about meaning, karma, soul evolution. Reincarnation inspires living mindfully, learning from experience, striving for growth. Let's add more stories. In Oklahoma, Ryan Hammonds recalled a life as Hollywood agent Marty Martin, describing 1930s films, stars, and Martin's daughter. Tucker found 55 exact matches. Ryan identified the daughter in a photo. This transformed his family. They embraced the idea of an eternal soul. In Brazil, a girl recalled a life in another state. Recipes, jobs, names. The families connected and became friends, bridging generations. In Sri Lanka, a boy described an accident 6 miles away. Every detail checked out. In Thailand, twin sisters recalled a past sister, found the family, and bonds formed. The internet amplifies these stories. People share them on forums and social media, building a global database. Skeptics, from Skeptical Inquirer, point to translator or parental bias. Tucker counters: Western cases without translators show the same results. The odds of random matches in complex cases are 1 in a billion. Quantum mechanics. Entangled particles suggest information persists. Near-death experience studies, Raymond Moody, align. People see a light, recall lives. In Myanmar, a girl recalled a trader's life. Markets, goods, debts, all matched. In Canada, a boy described a fisherman's life in Newfoundland. Boats, customs, archives confirmed. In Germany, a woman under hypnosis described the 18th century. Streets, buildings, historical records aligned. In 2023, Indian researchers published on birthmarks. 60% of cases show emotional ties to the past. In Australia, a boy spoke an ancient Tamil dialect unknown to his community. Reincarnation raises big questions. Why do we return? For lessons, growth, fixing mistakes. It offers hope of continuity, urging us to value every moment and be kinder. It's a bridge between the spiritual and material. What about you? Ever had déjà vu so strong it felt like another life? Dreamed of unfamiliar eras? Share in the comments. Your story could be a clue. Want more on astral projection or twin souls? Like this video and I'll make more. Thank you so much for watching. Your support fuels my drive to dig deeper. Subscribe, comment, share with friends. And above all, don't be afraid to seek the truth. It's closer than you think. See you in the next video.